Hello, everybody. My name is Marta Roman. I am the Education USA Advisor at Centro Colombo Americano in Armenia, Quindío. And I have worked in advising for many years, and I have had very good experiences with opportunity grantees. So I have been successful with some of my advices that have been able to go to graduate studies in the United States, to graduate school, as well as some undergraduate students. Today, I am in charge of talking about personal statement and the admission essays. So I will briefly explain what they are about, and I hope that you take some of the information and use it so that you can have a really good personal statement. As you know, the personal statement is a part of the application process, and that is a very important portion of the admission package. So you need to dedicate time and do your best in order to work on the personal statement or the admission essay. So some insights about the personal statement. Let's begin. So what is a personal statement? As I was saying, is a portion of the admission application. It's basically an essay. What is the reason for that? You know that the universities in the United States have a holistic admission process. It means that they not only pay attention to your scores, your transcripts, your CV, but they want to see everything about the applicant. And one of the things in order to get to know the student better is through the personal statement or admission essay. So that is the purpose of the personal statement. The schools are looking for well-rounded people. So this is the opportunity for the schools to get to know you well and to say, okay, this is a fit for our school. Of course, having in mind all the other requirements. But this personal statement plays a key role in the admission process. So I would say that this is a great opportunity for you to sell yourself. I don't like the term to sell yourself, but that's the way that best describes the role of the admission of the personal statement. So it is very important that you pay attention to the prompts, to what the university are looking for or what they are asking you. But you're going to find different types of prompts or um, personal statements. So we have a general or a specific also. So maybe the topic is too general or very specific. So that will depend on the prompt that the university gives you. It can be one page or 2 pages, 3 pages, we don't know. So it also depends on the school. There are limits in terms of the number of words that you need to type or the number of pages. So you have to be very strict and really limit to what they are asking you to do. It can be one statement or two or more. It all depends on the school. Again, I insist on that. It all depends on the school. So if you need, I have seen in my experience that when you are applying to additional scholarships, they will always ask you to write an additional essay. So you gotta be very careful with that besides the deadlines to submit those statements. The topics, the questions can be open-ended. They just say write about anything, or it can be about past experiences, asking you to talk about an experience, describe personal experience or academic or work experience, your motives, goals, and ambitions. That refers to the reasons why you are choosing this particular school or the program. It all depends on the school. Um, Also, They want to see a self-assessment. You need to talk about your strengths and your weaknesses. And you might take the opportunity to talk about problems in your past, maybe not having really good grades, or maybe your test scores aren't that high. So that's an opportunity to explain those situations. Um, I am going to speak as a Colombian person, and we Colombians tend to procrastinate a lot, and when we need to do something, we start doing it just from scratch. That wouldn't be a good advice. I would say you need to plan, you need to prepare to write your essays or your personal statements. So it's very important to get started as soon as possible if you haven't started yet. It's important to consult friends and relatives for ideas. So one of the things is to look at the prompts first, but also consult with friends and relatives for any ideas. Maybe it's a very open essay that would be very helpful. And you need to think about yourself, so you need to take an inventory of your unique experiences, your major influences and abilities. Write an experimental, creative essay in which you are the main character. I know this is kind of difficult. It sounds difficult because we don't like to talk about ourselves, but this is to talk about yourself. So you need to be open-minded and go inside yourself and see how you can express who you are. It's very important to, I think you already have a list of universities you want to apply to. So you need to assemble your applications and determine how many different essays you must write. How can you do that? Well, again, you need to read the prompt, and depending on the prompt is that you write your essay. So don't try to write one essay for all the schools. That doesn't work that way. You need to be very, very careful and look at the prompts and see what the university is asking for. It's important to get feedback from others before completing your final draft. So maybe you might have professors who might help you. Professors who have studied in the United States, I would say those are the best people to contact you or to get in touch to, so that they can give you feedback. However, in the Education USA Advising Office, we are here to help you also. Okay, talking about content, you need to think about what to write about, how to write about it, and how to present what you have to say. That is key. Your essay should give insight into your personality, again, your personality, yourself. Something very important to have in mind also is not your resume. You already saw the presentation on resume writing, which is something additional to the admission package. So you are not going to repeat your resume. You need to evaluate your experiences. That is more important than just talking about this, I have done this. No. Evaluate those experiences and how those experiences contribute to who you are right now. And it is very important when you write to ask yourself, is this essay one that only you could honestly write? You have to answer that question in order to feel satisfied with what you have written or with your drafts. It's important that it is about yourself. So think about the experiences that you have had and how those experiences make you who you are today. So those experiences that you have had, how have they contributed to who you are? So what have you gained from them? Maybe you have acquired interpersonal skills, you have become more mature, you have become more self-confident, you have sensitivity to others, integrity. What have you gained from those experiences? And what makes you different or unique? Maybe you have a talent, awards, trophies, role models, inspirations you have had, or a difficult experience. Do you belong to a minority status? So everything, all these topics or all these must relate to your personality and to the qualities that the qualities that the schools are looking for. So remember that what we help you is to get a fit between the school and you as the applicant. So think about that fit when you are talking about yourself. And so you need to know what university, what school you are applying to. And also project that you are a good fit, showing your personality, talking about yourself. Let us see an example. It's important that you write between 1 and 2 topics. Let's say this topic, moving to another country. First, you need to describe the experience. Okay, moving to X country. Describe the experience. Now, regarding personality, what did you learn about yourself and how you overcome problems? This is talking about your personality related to moving to another country. A quality about what you have gained, self-confidence, maturity, problem-solving skills. Those are just examples. Or regarding motives and aspirations. What are the reasons why you want to study something at a specific school in the United States? So what are your motives? If you talk about commitment, you just not need to say that you are committed to something. You need to say how. You need to show the commitment towards anything you mention. What have you actually done? Show it. You need to show. And again, you must address each school individually. Give specific reasons for each school. And again, not only showing what you have gained, but what are your hopes, what are your dreams after you graduate from that specific program or school. If you don't know what you're going to do, it's okay, but you need to have an idea at least of what you're going to do after you complete your graduate school. Here we have another example. So let's say regarding major, let's say it's nutrition. So maybe the reason was personal health issue or an experience, a personality quality. Those could be your motives. And why that particular school? So here you need to do your homework, which is you need to study each school you are applying to very carefully, especially the program, what they offer, the internships, the alumni, the atmosphere, what the school offers. And also the aspiration. What do you want to do after you graduate from the program? So this is very important. And as I mentioned before, if you don't know, at least you have to have an idea of what you're going to do. Now regarding style and format. It is important that your essay calls the attention of the reader. You need to think about your audience. That is very important. Think about your audience. Imagine an admission officer or a professor from a graduate school reading hundreds, thousands of essays, and you have to get the attention of the reader. So this is very important. Not to start you need to start your essay. The first few sentences are very important because they might grab the attention of the reader or they might not. So and you can experience that yourself. If you read something that is boring, you don't want to continue reading that. So that is very important to try to call the attention of the reader, not to try. I gotta be very stronger in that, which is you need to grab the attention of the reader. Remember that in terms of reading, you call it a hook, in which you just call the attention and the person wants to continue reading. So you need to be original. It's not recommended to speak in third person or to use fancy language or technical terminology. Also, you cannot be too informal either. It's important the size of the font you use. Between 11 or 12 is okay, but don't squeeze, don't go lower than that. In the personal statement, maybe you don't need to use an introduction or conclusion, but you need to have a hook. Hook is a key. So you need, maybe the hook could be a question that you ask, or showing some statistical information, or using an idiom. Now, if you are going to use an idiom, you need to be careful. If it is an idiom that we use in Spanish and then translate it into English, maybe it's not going to be the same, but you need to consult an English teacher so that you really use properly the idiom. Or it can be an anecdote as well. So something that really gets the attention of the reader. Now, the rules to write your statement. It is important the quality over quantity. So, and remember, you need to look at the number of pages they are asking for, the number of words, etc., so that you don't send too much. You need to be unique to show that your uniqueness and to be honest about yourself. Again, you show your personality, be yourself. You need to be creative and imaginative. You need to point out that you have done your homework, that you know what school you are applying to and the program you are applying to. So you need to point out some specific details of the schools. You need to show that you are optimistic, that you are enthusiastic about what you are writing. So you need to be very positive about yourself. And remember to evaluate and not recount your experiences. Ask for help, remember, again, Education USA, and all those professors that have studied in the United States are a really good a tool to take advantage of. And something that is readable, that is very important. So if the letter is too small, probably the person won't want to read it either. Now, regarding things that you shouldn't do, please don't repeat your resume again. Don't complain. Don't preach. Don't talk about money as your motive. So be careful with that. And do not mention minority status if you do not belong to a minority status that you really feel that you can show that this is minority. Also, please do not talk about school ranking. Like saying, oh, you are the #1 school, da da da. No. And do not use introduction or conclusion, but remember the hook. That is key. Don't use gimmick. So don't try to be like using tricks in that part. No. So just be honest, be yourself. Again, something important is not regarding the whole application per se. Don't submit extra materials unless asked. And this one is very important, the last one. Don't get name of school wrong. That is really, really terrible. I have attended seminars with admission officers, and that's something that is considered too offensive or you are careless. So you need to show professionalism, and getting the school name wrong is horrible. So be very careful. Look at the school, look at the prompt, look at the requirements, and stick to that. Okay. That's basically it about the personal statement, which is for graduate school. I'm going to give a very brief description of the admission essays. I'm going to just give a tip on writing the admission essay, which is a really good strategy that some of my advisors have used and it has worked. So the admission essay is for undergraduate school. And one of the things to get started again is to think about yourself. So again, the student thinks about himself, about what are his personality traits, and what is it that you want to show or want to convey to the admission committee. So you need to tell a story, basically a story about yourself. So you need to talk about your strengths and weaknesses, your qualities. Are you an intellectual or a plugger? Are you curious, creative? Are you passionate? So all those things you need to think about yourself. How would you describe yourself? And always choose something positive. Here I have an example of, we are talking about your positive qualities. So it's not about an event or something that you have done. For example, I was personero del colegio in my senior year. That is not a personal quality. Focus on a personal quality of your mind or of your character. So you can start by writing a statement in which you say, I am a very whatever person. And I have seen students who can ask their peers how they can describe you as a person, and you will get a lot of ideas if you feel that you want to have somebody else's perspective. So, and I think that will help a lot, asking your peers how they would define you. So to continue telling your story, what we can do is to set a timer for 20 minutes. And you pretend you are taking an exam in high school and responding to this. Tell a story about an experience or time when you showed you were a very, let's say, creative person. So, as you have a list from the first part, from your peers or what you have brainstormed yourself, so you can start writing about it. Basically that. Because what you need to do is to tell a story about yourself. And then you need to write non-stop for 20 minutes. So for yourself to keep telling the story and what it reveals until the timer goes off. So for those 20 minutes, pretend you are in an exam and start telling your story. And then you're done. You get a draft for your college essay. Look at the college application forms and see what questions they are asking. And no matter what the questions are, you are ready to start writing your essay. However, of course, you need to look at what they are asking for. If you are using the common application, you know that you can write a whole essay for different schools, but depending on the school, you might need to submit an additional essay. So I would say that this is a very good way of getting started, because the most difficult thing is to get started. We don't like to talk about ourselves, but this is a good strategy to begin. And it's important to have your own insights, but also to get your peers, your teachers' insights as well. So, your homework now. I would say those of you who have already begun your personal statement, I hope you can check the presentation and see what you can add or maybe eliminate from what you have done. And those who haven't started, I hope that this is going to be useful for you to get started. And for the undergraduate applicants, I would say remember to tell a story. That is very important. Also, those things that I have mentioned for the personal statement are important. You also need to sound interesting for the school. So what is it that you want to show the admission committee? Tell the story, and the hook would be like the most important thing. Now, uh, a recommendation is that also continue working with your advisor and use the material that they have in their offices. They have a lot of material, and there are different books that can help you and get in-depth information or training to write your admission essays and to write your personal statements. I think that's all for now, and thank you very much for your attention, and I hope this webinar has been useful to you. And remember, go to your Education USA office and work closely with your advisor. Thank you very much.